Good evening, everyone. Let me discuss lesson number 6, collecting rational numbers like terms. So for this one, some of you might get some trouble in solving, especially in adding or subtracting particular fractions and mixed numbers. So let me help you with it. So please open your book to page 37 if you have your books. If not, this is actually the same as the one on your books. So for letter A, it says here, solve each problem, leaving your answers in standard form. Show your steps. So for letter A, it says here, Terry weighs 40 kilograms. Janice weighs 2 and 3/4 kilograms less than Terry. What is their combined weight? So basically, we were given the weight of Terry, which is 40 kilograms. Well, Janice's weight is 40 kilograms minus 2 and 3/4. All right. So now, before we can continue, before we can combine them, we're going there later. We need to make sure that we are going to simplify 40 minus 2 and 3/4. So first method, I want you to change 2 and 3/4 into an improper fraction. And how do we do that? We multiply 4 to 2. So that is 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So that is always how we change mixed numbers into an improper fraction. So we're going to have 11 over 4. Now, what I want you to do, whenever you are adding or subtracting an integer and a fraction, what I want you to do is to multiply this particular integer into the denominator of the fraction. So it means what is 40 times 4? That will be 160. Do not forget, again, never forget the denominator of 4. So now, because why do we do this? As you can see, the denominators are now the same, which will be much easier for us to do. So we're going to have 160 minus 11, which will be 149 over 4. So as you can see, 149 is not divisible by 4, so it means we can just remain it this way. In another way, we can also simplify this as a mixed form, wherein 149 divided by 4 in mixed form should be 37 and 1/4. All right. Now we combine them. When we say combine, it means we are adding. All right. So it means we're going to have 40 plus 37 and 1/4. Remember the rule. We cannot add. All right. We cannot add, or it's difficult to add fractions or mixed fractions and a whole number. But in this case, it's gonna be pretty easy because our given whole number is already, or our given is a whole number and a mixed fraction. All right. So it means we can just definitely add it in, or add the particular whole numbers, which is 40 and 37, which will result to 77 and 1/4. All right. Next, this one, 2 and 2/3 minus 1 and 1/2 minus 4/5. So as you can see, we were given a mixed number, and then a proper fraction. So what I want you to do, the easiest way that we can possibly do this is to change the mixed fractions into an improper fraction. And again, how do we do that? We multiply the denominator to the whole number. So for this one, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So we're going to have 8 over 3 minus 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3 over 2 minus 4 fifths. Now, what I want you to do is to get the LCD, the least common denominator. All right, so as you can see, we got 3, 2, and 5. What is their common factor? That is basically what is being asked. All right, so what is the common factor of 3, 2, and 5? So remember, whenever we're getting the common factor, whichever is the smallest possible one, all right, the least common denominator, that is our particular denominator. So in this case, it will be 30. And how did I get that? 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. Now, you can choose something lower than that, but you have to make sure that we can divide it to 3, we can divide it to 2, and we can divide it to 5. But in this case, it's only 30 that is the least common denominator. All right, so now what are we going to do once we got that? What we're going to do is to divide this new denominator to each one of them. All right, we're going to divide. So 30 divided by 3 is 10. Times, what we're going to do is to multiply it to the numerator. So times 8 is 80. 30 divided by 2 is 15, times 3 is 45. 30 times 5 is 6. Times 4 is 24. Now we can operate all of these because the denominator is just the same. So 80 minus 45 is basically 35. So let's write that there. Minus a 24. Do not forget the 24. So 35 minus 24 is 11 over 30. As you can see, we cannot simplify 11 over 30 anymore. Therefore, that is our final answer. Letter C. Again, we have a fraction and then an integer. So as I said earlier, it's better to do the one that I told you. So in this case, what we're going to do is 1/5. Let us combine the sign. As you can see, there are two signs. And the rule, or basically not the rule, but it's much simpler if we're going to combine this by multiplying this signs only. So a positive times a negative is a negative. And then copy the given number, which is 4. Now let us convert 4 into a fraction, not by putting over 1 in it, but rather multiplying 4 to 5, which will be 20 over 5. As you can see, 20 divided by 5 is the 4. All right, that's why we are changing it. And it's always much easier if the denominators are the same. And now what is 1 minus 20? It's negative 19 over 5. Or in mixed form, it's negative 3 and 4 fifths. Next one, letter D. Pretty simple, multiplying. Remember that if there is no operation in between the parentheses and the number, all right, it's multiplication. So it means, how do we multiply an integer to a fraction? Just multiply the numerators. What is 4 times 3? 4 times 3 is 12 over, copy the denominator, which is 5. And because this is an improper fraction, we change it into a mixed number, which the result will be 2 and 2 fifths. Letter E. Mr. Jackson bought 1 3/5 pound of beef. He cooked 3/4 of it for lunch. How much does he have left? So for this one, because we have 1 3/5 and it's already asking for how much is left, think given that Mr. Jackson already cooked 3/4 of the beef, so it means we're going to have 1 3/5 minus 3/4. So basically, it's much easier if we change this into an improper fraction. So 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. So 8/5 minus 3/4. So there are two ways that we can do this. It's either we use the butterfly method or we find the LCD or the LCM or yeah, LCD. But here's the thing, because it's only two, we can just use the butterfly method, which is basically what you guys are used to. So 5 times 4 is 20. 8 times 4 is 32 minus 5 times 3 is 15. 32 minus 15 is 17/20. Can we simplify 17/20? No. So it means there is 17/20 pounds left. Now this one, as you can see, it says here, rewrite the expression in standard form by collecting like terms. That is the instruction. As you can see, all of the given variables are the same, which is n. So basically what we can do is let us factor out that first so that we can just focus on the given fractions. So we got 2/3 minus 3/4 plus 1/6 plus, let us change this into an improper fraction. 9 times 2 is 18 plus 2 is 20/9. And then n. Now, what we're going to do is to find a least common denominator for these four numbers. All right. So now, as you can see, 3, 4, 6, and 9. Thinking, what is the LCD of this? What is their common factor? It is 36. Right? 36 is divisible by 3. 36 is divisible by 4. 36 is divisible by 6. Same goes with 9. So we divide and then we multiply. 36 divided by 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. 36 divided by 4 is 9, times 3, 27. 36 divided by 6 is 6, times 1 is 6. 36 divided by 9 is 4, times 20 is 80. Next, we can now simplify the given numerators. So we're going to have 24 minus 27, rules of integers, it's going to be -3 plus 6 plus 80. We're going to have -3 plus 6, that will be 3 plus 80/36. 3 plus 80 is 83/36. Now we can simplify that. As you can see, it's not going to be we cannot simplify it in a way, but rather we can just change it into a mixed form, wherein that will be 2 and 11/36. Oh, don't forget the n. Exercise 1. For the following exercises, predict how many terms the resulting expression will have after collecting like terms. then write the expression in standard form by collecting like terms. So for this one, this will be my last example so that you can practice on your own. So this one, as you can see, this is the only one that has the variables. So it means we're going to isolate -4/5. So we're going to have 2/5 minus 1/6 minus, oh, sorry, wait. We also got -1/6. I thought that this was a g. So what we're going to do is 2/5 g minus g plus 3/10 g plus -1/6 minus 4/5. All right. Now let us isolate the g, or let us factor it out. So we're going to have 2/5 minus 1 plus 3/10 times g plus, let us now do this. This will be 30. 1 times 5 is -5 minus 6 times 4 is 24. Now let us change 1 into a fraction wherein it will be 5/5, excuse me. It's going to be 2/5 minus 5/5 plus 3/10 times g plus -29/30. So what we're going to have now is, we can just continue doing this. We're going to have -3/5 plus 3/10 g plus -29/30. This one, what we're going to do is butterfly method, or we can just simply find the least common denominator, which is 10. So 10 divided by 5 is 2 times -3 is -6 plus 10 divided by 10 is 1 times 3 is 3. So -6 plus 3 is -3/10 g plus -29/30. Or I can also accept -3/10 g minus 29/30. So either of the two. All right. So I will see you on the next lesson. I hope it helped. Bye.